Hi there everyone, I just wanted to do another video on these harmonics that I've been observing. Now we have a really bare bones Joule Thief circuit today. I'm just using two jumper leads aside from my oscilloscope probes to put the pot on. I did try a shorter oscilloscope lead, which is this one here, but I can't move the scope around and show you what's going on in the camera. I have confirmed that the length of the lead isn't making a noticeable difference in my findings. Now if you have a look there, you can see a little bit of harmonics, or what could be harmonics going on. It could also just be my scope's really poorly calibrated. They are cheap, nasty little things. This is a DSO 203. Now this is turned down as dull as it goes right now, and the waveform is very steady. We can pause that, and we can scroll up and down. You can see the little scrolly box at the bottom there, and it's going to be the same all the way up and down. Where the interesting stuff happens is when you start reducing the amount of resistance. So we're at 100k of resistance at the moment. I'll unpause and I will zoom my time scale out a bit. As we reduce the amount of resistance, these peaks get further and further apart. They also start to grow a bit. Currently our max peak height is 3.2 volts. It's pretty good for lighting up the LED the way it is. As we go out, we start to approach. Whoa, there's full power, there's no resistance. Let's just get that on our screen. Now we are getting pulses up at the 6 volts there. But it's jumping around all over the place, so let's just move that trigger up to the high point. We'll see if we can get this to steady out. There we go. Now we pause it, and I'll go back over to, and you'll notice there is definitely lots of different peaks going up and down, different heights. And that goes right through. Some of them will reach this yellow line at the top, which is at 6 volts by the way, nearly double what that LED is supposed to run on. Yet, look, there it is. Now we'll just turn that back a bit. I'll change my time scale so we can see the shape a bit better. Let's move that trigger down and try and steady things out a bit. There we go. Oh, what do I do? Dodgy positive. Now let's just turn that back to the sweet spot. So, watching that LED, I've gone past it. There it is. I should be using around 80 to 100 milliamps right now, rather than the 200 if I have zero resistance. So it's quite efficient for the amount of brightness it's making. It's also a bit over 5 volts. We're getting 5.32 volts peak to peak. And we're still jumping all up and down. So let's just move this trigger down until that steadies out. There we go. Now I'll pause. You can see our little scrolly box, we're in the middle. We'll scroll back towards the start. Look, there's one that hits my trigger line. And yet there's quite a few under that. Quite some distance before we get another one that high. There's one. And there'll probably be next one will be right at the base. There we go. That's as far as I can scroll that way. So over all these peaks across that it's showing there, only probably about 5 of them are going to the full 5.32 volts. The rest of them are often sitting just below 5 volts. And that gives the really interesting harmonics, or what I'm calling harmonics, as we zoom out, zooming the wrong way there. You get a bit of a sawtooth pattern there. And then you get it like a fractal effect. That's pretty much the same shape and size as the original waveform, but yet we're at 1 millisecond now per division. And that continues right through the whole millisecond range. And then you start going back, the scope's not going to pick this up too well now, but then you start going back to seeing the same patterns again. I just thought that's really interesting. And I just wanted, there's been some comments about possible chuffing. So I just want to show what I would call chuffing, which is a little different. And I need to get the time scale right to see it. Go out a bit, turn things down, get that trigger back where it should be. Now, if I put a capacitor across these terminals, one, we get dimmer, and two, we get some chuffing. Yeah, that LED's on, but you're not seeing a lot. There we go, let's pause that. And let's go and have a look. So you get big stretches where it's just sitting at its base 1.2 volts, which is losing power, by the way. The amps draw is tiny, we're into microamps now. And then every so often it has a little chuff. Tries to go for a bit, big strong peak, smaller, 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 and then it just peters back out. Looks pretty, but it's wasting power. Although it's wasting power very slowly, because once you add the capacitor in, the amp usage does drop significantly. And there's that chuffing. It's not much use, the old chuffing. There are times though with really flat batteries you can squeeze a bit of extra life out of them that way. That's about all it's good for. But what I'm saying here, when you're seeing a bit there with those little peaks dancing all up and down, I'm sure there's some harmonics going on there. Because the more you zoom out, the more you keep seeing the same image again, repeated. It's like some kind of fractal. From what I understand about harmonics, that's exactly what they are. Anyway, thanks for watching.